Technology works until it doesn't. It's Friday, and I tell you, there's nothing that can rob the joy. Everything that my mom would tell me all the time was, don't let anything ever rob your joy. Man, today is a Friday, so it's joyful. On Friday, it's incredible. I was thinking about my pops yesterday, and I got to sit down and spend some time, not only alone time with the Lord, but also I got to spend some time with an amazing company called Sport Clips. And I got to speak to, I believe it was just under 1,800 leaders yesterday, and I got to do it right here from the Vibe studio, and it was unbelievable. When I was spending time alone with God, like I heard my pops' voice. He said, boy, first you build the people, and then you build the business. And this is what my pops would say all the time. You would hear him, and I could hear his voice right now. And Pops, I absolutely love you. And I didn't understand what you were saying when I was in 4th grade, and you were saying, boy, you build the people and then allow the people to build the business. And I was like, Pops, I ain't got no business. And then, we had to start mowing lawns because he made us mow lawns. And we were doing that. And then, moving into business later on, then I realized that my pops was right, and it just was that simple. It wasn't easy, but it was just that simple. If you build the people and allow the people to build the business, you'll never grow hungry. And I always tried to challenge him to this because I wanted to make it complicated. But what he was saying to me all the time is, son, if you keep it simple, then you keep it fun. And when you keep it fun, people stay engaged. And when they stay engaged, they start to innovate. When they innovate and then they adapt immediately, it starts to become their company, their vision, and they grow the business. But it's your job not to grow the business. It's your job to grow the people. Well, the billion-dollar question would be then, how can you actually build people? Well, it was so cool because in Proverbs 13, it shows us exactly how to build people, which will inevitably build the business if you let them. And this is where I got in trouble, over the course of my career, because a lot of times I would build up the people and then I would think that, oh no, I knew best and it has to be my ideas. Honestly, what we want to do is we want to make sure that we're clear with the mission. If we're clear with the mission and we keep that simple and we invite discipline into our own lives as leaders, what will start to happen is we'll have the ability to build people through speaking life to them. And when we speak life, it's just using their name and something specific. And then what starts to happen is the culture starts to build. Once the culture starts to build, then people start to see that the processes and procedures or the systems in the company are nothing more than a list of your screw-ups. Then they start checking the productivity because they want to be more efficient. Then they start to innovate and say, I'd like to try this idea because I want to cut away the fat and I'd like to make it a little bit more efficient. And then they start to adapt immediately. And what happens is you create a culture that is alive. And Proverbs 13, written 3,000 years ago, gave us the blueprint on how to be able to build that type of business. So let's go through it, right? The first one is to invite discipline and accept the mission. We not only have to be clear with the mission, but we have to accept it. Sometimes we know exactly what to do, but we haven't accepted it as truth in our lives. And the mission, my pops would say, we all play the exact same game, and it's the game of life. We're all called to one thing, and that's just obedience to exactly what God has you to do on that particular day. And this has been tough in the keynote speaking space because everyone told me when I first got into the keynote speaking space, oh, well, you have to just have one speech, and then you just have to say that over and over again. The tough thing is to stay in communication with God, connect with the people, and speak based off of what the people need at the time. That is speaking life, and it's very specific to each and every audience. And it's been great. I'm going to BITAC this weekend. BITAC is the hospitality conference where all the founders and CEOs and owners and all the decision makers in the top of the hospitality industry all come together, and you actually don't get hired to speak there. They charge you, even if you're the highest rate speaker in the world. And I've been very, very fortunate to be in the top tier, but they actually charge you. They charge you $25,000 to speak in front of their audience because their audience is so potent. The cool thing is that membership gives you privileges, but relationships grant you access. And Mr. Nick Horgan with Amaze Insights, we made friends over time, over the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years. He was my son's first football coach. And because I'm friends with him, we connected, and he introduced me to the BITAC family. I got to speak and start off the conference the last time, kind of set the vibe there, and they asked for me to come back. So I'm flying out to Sarasota tomorrow morning to go to the Ritz-Carlton to talk to all of the CEOs, CFOs, COOs, and owners and decision makers of the largest and most powerful hospitality companies in the world. Now, in doing that, I have to stay present, because if I can't come with a canned speech, that's not what it's about. It's about being there with the people and delivering based off of that principle of speaking life. So this first one is just to invite discipline. Invite discipline, allow yourself to do the work. Over the last, 2.5, 3 years, I think it was, 2 years ago, coming up, almost 2 years, we were at episode 318, I believe. Today is episode 729. So you could do the math on that. It's 410 episodes in less than 2 years. And I don't beat my chest because of that. It's just practice, just doing it over and over and over again. Recording early, recording late, doing whatever we can because we want to make sure that we're ready and we stay disciplined. But invite that into your life and then accept the mission. And what is the mission? My pops told me the mission was very, very simple. I was called to obedience. Do exactly what God had me to do at the exact right time when he told me to do it. And God would take care of the results. It doesn't always work out exactly the way I think it's going to be or on the time that I think it's going to be, but I tell you, it's way better than I could ever imagine. I want to give a huge shout out to Edward Logan, because honestly, as a leader of the Sport Clips culture and family and company, it's amazing what you do, my man. I don't know if you get enough thanks for giving us all the opportunities and the opportunities that you see. Those 1,800 leaders yesterday, you say 2 words and you impact, generations, man. And I just want to compliment you on it. Also, too, Julie Vargas was employee number 1 with Sport Clips. And I remember meeting her when they had 300 locations. Now they have over 1,800. And we got a chance to talk to yesterday, and you spoke life into me. And I just want to tell you how much I appreciate you. So that's where we go to next, is just speak life to people early and often, in public and in private, but private first, and steer clear of gossip. So here we go, right? Speak life to people early and often, and in public and in private, but make sure it's in private first. If you speak life to people in private and then in public, then they will trust you. But if you only speak life to people in public when other people are around, it'll look like lip service. It'll look like you're doing it for yourself, and the people will not trust you. Speak it privately, speak it publicly, speak it regularly, and just stay away from gossip. If you're constantly speaking life, you don't even have any room inside your mouth for gossip. Laziness doesn't work, and diligence pays. And this was a hard thing for me to understand, was that busyness is laziness. That was a hard one. Because a lot of times I would get busy, I would just get moving, I'd just be in motion, but I wouldn't be in action. Being in action is moving towards something, towards your desired result, and being busy is just doing a lot of stuff. And what my pops would call it was stuff and things. And he said, you could fill up your life with stuff and things, but if you'll be diligent, which means just right work. And what is right work? Is just doing what you're supposed to be doing at that particular time. This is a thing that I see with my friend Nick Horgan from Amaze Insights, is that he walks in integrity. Nick Horgan is the same in the dark as he is in the light. My friend Lotzi Hawk, she was the unheralded producer of the Vibe Room. So we had the live version of the podcast just recently. It was last week. It was absolutely amazing. We had Nick Horgan speak, who he only speaks. He's one of the icons in the hospitality industry, and that's all where he speaks at. He won't speak anywhere else except the Vibe Room. And then we had Alexis Ruddick, Wealth and Legacy Management. or wealth and legacy builder, and she talked about tax strategies, things like that. She was the exclusive alliance partner for the Vibe Room and one of the main sponsors, or the main sponsor. We had Aaron Suker, who took a guy with a pair of shorts and a dream and turned it into a $5.4 billion business called Viore. He did the digital marketing for that and built the brand. We had the #1 motivational speaker in the world, Mr. James Dixon from Elevate the Voices. We had Joe Sib, RJ Sands, and also we had the Sullivan Band, which was amazing. And who could forget Mr. Larry Namer, the founder of the E! Entertainment Network? And when they came in, it was incredible, incredible, incredible. But I want to go back to Nick, because when Nick was in the dark, you know, when him and I are just talking, there's no one in the audience, he's the exact same. When we're talking in front of an audience, he's exactly the same. And so he walks in integrity. This goes right in line with that, is just don't fake the funk. Don't fake the funk. Be real with your people, and always keep it positive. That comes from my big brother, Rob. Always keeping it positive is probably one of the most important things that you'll ever do. And if you always keep it positive, you don't have any room for negative. So just keep it positive. And your people aren't their performance. This was the hardest thing for me to understand, because there were some times where I'd look at someone's performance and I would just be like, oh, you need to do better. And I had to realize, and this is what Proverbs 13 helped me to realize, was that people are not their performance. Love the people, manage the systems. But if you get to the point where you manage the system, or you love the systems and you manage the people, that's where the expiration date gets put on that relationship. Love the people, manage the systems. When we get that flipped, which I have, then you lose tons of money, you lose market share, and that's where challenges come in. Use your light to illuminate others. And this goes right back into Speaking Life. If you have a light, which all of you do, make sure you just illuminate others. And some people are scared to illuminate others, like Elevate the Voices. James Dixon, #1 motivational speaker in the world. He just got hired in by the armed forces. I believe it was the Air Force. We were just talking about it yesterday. And I'm just cheering for him because he's doing amazing. He's got a movie premiere that's coming December 13th. In Salt Lake City, and you guys can come out. I'm going to be there. James is going to be there. It's going to be absolutely phenomenal. Reach out to me if you want to get tickets. But shine your light on everybody else. Illuminate every single thing that other people are doing, and you'll find that there's always room. Somebody else's light will illuminate you. I just got a text message from Edward Logan, and Edward Logan is the president of Sport Clips. And that's his company. Like, it started in his family, and now he runs it, and he runs 1,800 locations. You're talking, 1,800 locations, even if they just had 10 people, you're talking about 18 to 20,000 people in the network as far as working with Sport Clips. This guy is absolutely amazing, but he's a phenomenal father, phenomenal husband, and incredible leader. But he just gave me a text, and, it's one of those things in the morning, like, those kind of things, when you illuminate other people, you'll never, never, never starve for the light. So as we move down in Proverbs 13, and Proverbs 13 was so rich, I would suggest that you just take the time and read through it. It is it's a blueprint for this. And so seek wise counsel, and don't try too hard, and remember, you're not alone. Seek wise counsel. Just go and find people who have done it. I got a chance to be able to sit down with my buddy George the other day. He's a consultant, and I just sat down with him, and I had some questions on my consulting company, on Vibe Consulting, on going in and helping people to understand that it's not the energy that they bring into the room, but it's the way that people feel when they leave. It's not your leadership style. It's not your culture style. It's not your systems that are the challenge. It's the way that people feel about them. No matter how great the leadership is, how great the culture is, or how great the systems are, if people don't feel great about them, they won't execute them. So again, it goes back to building the people and allowing people to build the business. But when I sat down with George about, and I got to seek wise counsel. And so that way, when I go into companies and I'm consulting them on their vibe of their leadership, their culture, their systems, I got wise counsel from someone who built and scaled. He started in data processing, one of the very first in that, and scaled his business and sold it. And I get to sit with him. He just turned 80 the other day, and he's got tons of wisdom. Seek wise counsel. Don't try so hard because honestly, people see that. And then remember, you're not alone. Just ask a question. Ask a question of wise counsel. Here we go. Always remember the rule of 10. Incremental change, tipping point, and exponential growth. That comes from the book Tipping Point. Thank you so much for that one. But here's the rule of 10. My pops told me. Most people are doing a thing called spray and pray. I'm trying to have as much audience as possible, and then I just go from that point. I'm just trying to murder that. And what my pop said is just focus on the one in front of you. From the one in front of you, if you do a phenomenal job and make them pee their pants, as my pops would say, he'd say, boy, people need to wear Depends when they come and see you. And I said, why, Pops? He said, because they need to pee their pants because the service was so amazing. So first make them pee their pants, and then they'll go tell 10 friends. Or if you don't make them pee their pants, they'll go tell 10 friends to stay as far away from you as possible. But this rule of 10 is very simple. Make them pee their pants, go get their 10 friends, bring their 10 friends to you. You went from 1 to 10. Those 10 that sit down, make them pee their pants, they've all got 10 inside them, so that now goes from 1 to 10 to 100. And those 100, if you make them pee their pants, they all got 10, and 10 times 100 is 1,000. You go from 1 to 10 to 100 to 1,000. And then you can imagine the multiples after that. This thing can light fire, but we got to focus on the one that's right in front of us and be able to do that. We've got to breathe. We got to be present. We got to understand and be clear with the mission. We got to accept it. We got to invite discipline into our lives. We got to seek wise counsel. We got to speak life to everyone around us. We got to build the people and then allow the people to go build the business. Seek out discipline. I used to hate it when people would tell me what to do when I was a kid. And hate's a strong word, but I'll tell you that I did hate it. But I can tell you this. The greatest way in the world to stop someone from putting their foot up in your butt is to put your own there, because then there won't be any room for anybody else. That's where inviting discipline is so great. Invite discipline. Just get a little bit better. Ask yourself, how can I make this thing better? Even if you were the greatest. I sat down, I did a keynote yesterday for 1,800 leaders all across the country. It was amazing. The chat was going amazing. I had so much fun. But when I got done, I wasn't down on myself. I thought that it was perfect. But then I'm going to review the tape and saying, how can I get better with this? Not getting down and marring the memory that happened, because it was awesome. I got some great feedback, all those things. But for me to think that that's it, no. There's another level. There's another place that you could go to. How can you become more efficient? How can you become a little bit better? And I tell you, if you seek out discipline, invite it. And then you put your own foot in your butt. Nobody else's could fit in there. Lean on each other. Lean on each other in your network. You have so many people in your network. I lean on James Dixon. I reach out to him right before I went on to speak to Sport Clips yesterday. You know what I did? I prayed for every single one of those people. And you know what how that happened? I called my friend James Dixon, the #1 motivational speaker in the world. He is the founder of Elevate the Voices, which has 10 to 12 times more views and engagement than TED Talk. So if you want to get your voice out there, you should be on Elevate the Voices as opposed to going trying to get a TED Talk. But James is my buddy. He's my friend. He's my brother. So I called him and we prayed for those 1,800 people that I was about to speak for. Lean on each other. Lean on the people in your network. I can guarantee you, if you ask the right questions to the right people, you get the right answers. Love and data wins. Sometimes people just want to give you data. Sometimes people just want to give love. But when you give love and data, it's a deadly combination. Love and data. You wrap the data in love. You wrap it in that you want the best for the person and you want them to be able to grow. And then guess what starts to happen? Magic. Love and data. But make sure they're together. Give them too much data, expiration date. Give them too much love. I tell you, I find this with my son. I have to wrap him up with love, but I have to give him the data that, hey, he was going to take some ice cream upstairs yesterday, and I was like, son, you got to go bring the plates down before you take the ice cream upstairs because I sell the plates in your room. He's like, Dad, I don't have any plates up there. It's all done. And I said, are you sure? He's like, maybe just one. It's love and data. I love the kid. I want him to have ice cream. I want him to have a good time, but I also want to make sure that there ain't no ants up in his room. Love and data. And finally, when you do the right thing and build people, you will never grow hungry. This is wild because most of the time, companies either need market share, right? So they need more customers, which means more revenue. They need their voice to be out there for people to hear it, or they just need more efficiency. It's pretty simple. And when I was growing up, my pops would always say, boy, if you build the people, and then allow the people to build the business, you'll never go hungry. Well, I thought, no, Dad, it's so much more complicated. But every time I tried to complicate it, guess what happened? People checked out. When I kept it simple and simply build the people. And how do we do that? By speaking life to them. Speaking life to them. Use their name and use something very, very specific. Very, very specific that they did that inspired you. And that will start to light it on fire. But before you go in and just speak life to people, make sure that you invite discipline into your own life, into every aspect, personally, professionally, spiritually, and financially. And then you not only make the mission clear, but you accept the mission. It's a Friday. I'm excited because I'm here in the studio. The Vibe Studio has been incredible. I get to go to Sarasota and speak at BITEC. I just got to speak at for Sport Clips, and then I'm going to be at the Huddle in January 29th, which is going to be amazing, be in person there. I want to thank a bunch of people. I want to thank Edward Logan. I want to thank Dave Blackford. He just texts me, he speaks life into me. James Dixon, Elevate the Voices. If you haven't checked him out, check him out. Edward Logan, the man, the myth, the legend. Sport Clips. You guys are amazing. And I cannot tell you how much I appreciate every single one of you. And George, I got to tell George, thank you for sitting with me. I did a podcast a couple episodes ago. If you haven't listened to it, go back and listen to it. It's how to get any mentor you would like. And I actually used those exact things. There was 5 steps to it. Go back and listen to the episode. I did that, and I actually got to sit down with George, who's a mentor of mine in consulting, and he helped me with the Vibe Consulting. And it's amazing what can happen when you seek wise counsel and you lean on those around you, because you're not alone. So just remember today, if you want your business to grow, you want your relationships to grow, you want anything to grow, build the people around you and allow them to build whatever it is that you want to grow. I hope you have a phenomenal day. I definitely will. My name is Kelly Cardenas, and I'm officially off the hot seat. Peace, love, and soul.